welcome back. It is that time. We say hello. Good morning to Mike Eppel. How was your weekend, Mike?
It was excellent. Thank you. How about you? How are you? Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm a lot better. Look, I'm a lot better than I was on Friday. I'll tell you that.
That's true. You got a big smile on your face.
I was in a mood on Friday, but then again, remember. Well, so much. Things were being canceled and shut down for the summer, and I was on my low energy day of the week. Remember, my week goes like this basically from an energy standpoint, and my anger and frustration levels go the other way. So it's like that's how I roll.
That's all right. You know what? We're going to start things off positive, looking good.
Exactly.
What are you watching today, Mike?
Look, we're looking at actually a spotlight on the economy this week and whether or not we're going to start to see all of these talk about rising price pressures within the economy with inflation data due from StatsCan, and that's going to be a market mover that we're watching for on Wednesday, Melanie, because we've talked about grocery prices going up and lumber prices going up and oil and gas and all these things. So we're probably going to see a spike in the headline inflation rate from Stats Canada, and then we've also got some retail spending data due later in the week as well, and whether or not all of the lockdown restrictions have resulted in a slowdown in Canadian consumer spending, or again, maybe it's just all about e-commerce, right? That's certainly been the offset to the shutdown of in-store retail. From a market standpoint, we've got gold this morning at a 3-month high. That's, again, based on the inflationary outlook. Last week was topsy-turvy for stocks. We started with a sell-off and then saw a nice rebound, a flourish over the last 2 trading days of last week, and things actually stabilized going into the weekend. So it's going to be interesting to see. There's an old adage, sell in May and go away. Hasn't been the case entirely this month so far, because the Dow's up 1.5% so far for the month, and all of the markets have actually done pretty well. They're all up 10, 11, 12%.
Mike, as we look at these lockdown measures here, it's it's encouraging, but it's also, I'm jealous. Let's just say it. I'm jealous when I look at places like the U.S. and UK now. They're starting to lift a ton of restrictions and getting back to normal life.
Yeah, as of today, the UK has travel rules in place, again, with vaccine documentation, that British citizens can fly to 12 other countries within the EU. Again, it's all based on country-by-country specifics about COVID-19 case counts, vaccination. But, there's been this talk about, well, we here, because we're behind in vaccinations and our case counts are still relatively high, we should use other countries as a roadmap, a template for reopening. And the UK is ahead of us, let's face it. They're back to in-restaurant dining today, as of today. Now, again, there are still mask mandates, and that's something that is also of note, that they're maintaining their mask rules and regulations in restaurants, in stores. And then you look in the States, and some individual American states are saying to their business operators, keep the mask mandates in place, as opposed to what the CDC is talking about, where people they're saying, well, you can take your mask off if you've been fully vaccinated. So again, state by state, country by country. Yeah,
be free. Let's talk about Elon Musk. With a single tweet, does what?
Well, he got into this Twitter chat over the weekend about cryptocurrencies, because last week he was saying Bitcoin and the blockchain were detrimental to the environment because of the energy used to run the computers, which in many jurisdictions is still coal-fired, because that's the cheapest option for the blockchain computer network. Well, over the weekend, he was also musing about the idea of selling Bitcoin. And again, it was just an offhand comment, but Bitcoin plunged 10%. And then he said last night also on Twitter, oh, he's not selling any Bitcoin. Tesla, of course, made headlines a few months back about being in the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency market. So, I mean, it's just, we get wrapped up in these things because it is interesting, because a lot of people, they're looking for the next big thing and maybe a get rich quick or what have you, and Bitcoin and cryptos go up and then they go down. And the Canadian dollar in the midst of all of this, Melanie, is at a 3-year high at 82.5 cents US and not doing much of anything.
No, not at all. All right, Mike.
Very steady.
As always, I appreciate your time. Have a great Monday.
Thank you.
6:17 is what we're sitting at right now. Hey, do you know someone who got their vaccination this weekend? Coming up after the break, we've got details on one of the most successful clinics to date here in the city of Toronto. We're going to bring you that and more coming up.